right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Plus in Pageantry here on the BGE Cloud. Today, I have the honor of speaking with Miss Brittani Roe, who is a phenomenal woman that I had the honor of meeting in what I would think is a vulnerable space as a contestant at one of our fabulous USA pageants here in the Pacific Northwest. I personally help on the team for I lied, this year it will be 4 pageants. And Brittani is just somebody who was very kind to us as staff and very chill, which is rare backstage. So I definitely want to be able to give her some time to share with us her journey, not only in pageantry, but in life. So Miss Brittani, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. I'm so happy you're here today. What are you doing in this second other than interviewing with me? Are you studying for something? Are you sitting in the sunlight? What are you doing?
I am currently sitting on my back patio letting my laundry finish up, and I have a concert to go to tonight. So I'm just kind of trying to get hyped up for that.
Oh my goodness, who are you seeing?
Matchbox 20.
Girl, I love a retro girly. Do they have like new music out? Am I
They
late?
dropped a new album last week, and let me tell you, I am not prepared if they play it tonight.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't too late. But a week late, I'll be a week late. Oh my gosh, awesome. Well, I've only ever been to one concert, fun fact. Am I telling the truth there? Yes, I've only been to one concert. It was a Chris Brown concert. It was a great show, but
I'm sorry, what are you doing without concerts in your life? I mean, what's happening?
I'm always so busy. And you know who I really want to see who's coming to Seattle, I think this month? I want to see Janet Jackson.
Okay.
In my mind, Janet Jackson can do no wrong. The woman, okay? The woman, the mother, the performer, the artist, the goddess. I love that woman. And I want to see her, but I am so booked, like back to back. And then I'm choreographing for Miss Nevada this month. It'll be after the pageant by the time this airs, but woof, honey.
What's it gonna take for us to get you there?
It's gonna take a miracle. I'm also I went to the Chris Brown concert pre-COVID, so I guess if I can do a pageant weekend, I can do a concert.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you like more concerts, or are you kind of like a festival girly? Like, what's your bag?
I've been to 2 concerts in my life. They're both country. I'm a huge country music fan. But personally, I like the intimacy of just a singular concert. I'm a concert buff. I love them. I think they are so much fun. I think festivals are just a little much for me. By day 3, I'm like, okay, and I'm done.
See, I was going to go to a festival, and then somebody told me that there will likely not be any real bathrooms at said festival, and that was a no for me. I was like, I'll pass, but thank you. Thank you so much. I was like, oh, I want real facilities. Thanks. But yeah, that's awesome. How many concerts do you think you've been to?
Oh, I've been to, well, this will be my 3rd one this year, and it's June. So
I think that's healthy.
the math is gonna be pretty big on that one. Not gonna lie.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, moving on. So again, as mentioned, I know you from pageantry. What are your other interests? Are you in school? Are you working? Tell us a little bit about your life.
Well, I graduated with my master's degree about a month ago, so whew,
Congratulations.
done with that. And I'm a special education teacher, so lucky me, I am on summer break, keeping myself busy for sure, but I actually have my national pageant in 2 weeks. So I probably need to start kicking my butt into gear on that one.
So let's roll right in. Go ahead and introduce us under your um, state title, which is listed here on the screen. But go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why you chose to compete with which system are you with?
Volunteer America.
Okay, so go ahead and introduce yourself as your Volunteer America title and tell us why you chose Miss Volunteer America.
So I am going to nationals this year as an at-large title holder representing Miss Vermont Volunteer. If you know me, I'm a USA girly, but the volunteer system actually reached out to me in September, and they said, "Hey, here's a whole list of states. Pick one. We want you." And I like to take gap years in between my pageantry. I just think it's good for the soul. It's good for my personal growth and development. And I thought, you know what? This is a national stage. This would be an amazing opportunity for me to prepare for the state USA title that I want. That's of my dreams. But it's been crazy because for those of you who don't know, Miss Volunteer America is the original Miss America model. So when Miss America went 2.0, Miss Volunteer America came out to kind of be that original America. We're talking talent, the glitz, the glam, the whole 9 yards of what we all envision Miss America being.
Wow.
So for me to kind of switch to this system has been a whirlwind in so many different ways.
So there's one thing that you said that I think is so important, and I want to kind of fork into that a little bit. So you said that you like to take a gap year between competing, and I want to talk about that a little bit more because I think it's so important that as athletes or competitors in any facet that you recognize what you need as far as like pushing forward or even scaling back. So is there was there a moment in your pageant career where you chose to start taking a gap year, or have you been that way from the very beginning?
My very first year, I was 19 years old competing for Miss Washington USA. I was the youngest one in a field of 50 girls, and it was the worst weekend of my life. I was miserable. And at the end of it, I was like, you could not pay me to do this again. So here I am, took this gap year after because I was done. And I realized that I was like, I had the wrong attitude. I had the wrong mentality. I didn't do it the way that I knew I could do it. And after a good talk with the Northwest production, our director, Maureen, she was like, I want to offer you the chance to come back. The second time I came back was for Idaho, USA. So much smaller on scale.
Mhm.
And that gap year, I really was able to figure out what I wanted to accomplish as a pageant competitor, how I wanted to present myself, how I wanted to play the game my way. And I realized that taking that gap year, I transformed not only as a competitor, but as a person because so much happens between those years. I can't even imagine. I know I'm already planning on competing next year for Idaho, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a completely different person than I was when I competed last year.
Yeah, I think, you know, me personally, you you kind of know what your strengths and weaknesses are heading into competition, right? And in a stressful environment, sometimes you can only see, the things that hinder you. And my first experience was with Pageants Northwest at Miss Washington USA. I don't even want to say how many years ago, but it was, I've never had a full blown bad pageant experience. I think for me, I was just so unprepared. I didn't really know what this beast called pageantry was. My first year, like, granted, I went to the workshops that were hosted for us and everything like that. So I had a little idea, but I didn't know what I was really getting into for pageant weekend. So I know I've been there as well. And I chose to go the other route. When I was early in my pageant career, I was just competing wherever I could compete. And then found that if I'm not taking the time to step back and correct, the mistakes or like assess the game, then there's no way for me to move forward. I was just doing what I wanted to do, and that's not exactly it. There's a formula to everything you do in life, right?
No, absolutely. I wish it's one of my biggest pieces of advice as I share with younger, women and girls who want to go into pageantry is I'm like, you got to be willing to step out of it for a second and to change your perspective, I think, to really become the title holder you really want to be.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. So you're getting ready for a national pageant. Have you ever been to a national pageant before?
No, this is my first time.
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh my gosh, just, you know, do you have such a great energy about you, so you're automatically going to attract a good time, but just again, stick to your game. That's always my biggest advice when you get to the national or even the state pageant. That's not the time to be changing things because sometimes you get things in like your goodie bag and stuff and you want to try it. No, if you have sensitive skin or sensitive stomach or sensitive anything, don't try anything in your goodie bag until you get home. Take your cute picture with it, post it, but but don't get too carried away. And then yeah, just be open to the experience, but definitely stick to your game. You're prepared, you're ready, and I'm wishing you the best of luck there. I know you're going to have a good time.
Well, thank you. I hope so. Like, I'm used to a quick little 2-day event, and this is a whole 8 days. And there's a part of me who's like, do I have the endurance for this? Do I have the stamina for what's coming my way? So
Oh my
I think I'm just going in with the headset of like, you know what? I think my chill energy, as you said, is really gonna help me out in these stressful moments backstage.
yes, and I think something I've seen a shift on my side. I see a lot of women shifting to the Volunteer America pageant that have experiences in other pageantries. So I think you're going to get like kind of this interesting blend of pageant cultures. So I want you to kind of circle back and tell me how that goes because I'm interested to hear that. I think you're going to get a like fondue of all these different types of pageantry while you're there, and that's going
Oh,
to be
for
interesting.
sure.
Yeah. Because I mean, each state even has their own vibe. Like, you've experienced pageantry in Washington and in Idaho, and I could say they're almost polar opposites as far as the personalities you get at the show.
Oh, those are not only are the people different, but I mean, just the culture and just the vibe. I mean, it's very, very different. And so, when I would compete at Washington, 50 girls. When I compete in Idaho, we're less than 20. And so now to go up against, 53 again, but not everyone's from the same state, not everyone's from the same area. I'm like, oh, this is going to be something that I've never even seen before, just our personalities and who we all are.
And how are you prepping for that? I feel, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I feel that, a lot of people, when they're prepping for the pageant, they're worried about the wardrobe and their coaching and what they're going to say. But a lot of people don't spend time with getting their mental health in order. How are you prepping your mind to go into your nationals?
Practicing a lot of grace. I am not in the shape I wanted to be in. I am not as prepared as I wanted to be. There's nothing about this that I felt has gone right. And in so many ways, I've had to remind myself to give myself grace and to understand the like, you know what, signed up for this on a whim. Was a full time special ed teacher, which we all know is a giant job. Was completing my master's degree, was working other jobs. I work with 3 other nonprofits. I'm the director and state runner of one of them. And we held our state event in March. And I have to remember that I'm like, I am so much of a person outside of pageantry, and that person has done so many things. So for me, just trying to be very kind to myself because I want to be confident and love the person that I bring to nationals. And right now, it's just requiring a lot of love.
And you know what? I appreciate how raw and transparent you were just then because I don't think a lot of people would have been forthcoming about that. So thank you. That is just goes to speak to your fantastic character. I do appreciate you sharing that. Just not feeling exactly ready, but still fully committed to moving forward and giving it your best shot. And you got this, girl. You got this. You don't have anything to worry about because I think it's important that we remember that us in pageantry and us in the rest of the world shouldn't exactly be two different people. Everything that you are outside of pageantry, you're bringing to that organization. And I think they would be lucky to have you. So I'm very excited to see how you move forward.
Oh,
But
well, thank you.
you're welcome. I try. I try. Um, do you have an area of competition that you're particularly excited for? I mean, going from USA to volunteer, you're getting talent. So, are you feeling excited for talent? And share with us what your talent is and what you're
Um,
excited for. Don't. It doesn't have to be talent.
I have never competed in talent before, but everyone, when you tell people you're in pageants, they're like, "Oh, do you have a talent?" And I always have joked and said, "No, but if I did, I would do stand-up comedy." If you know me and if you've met me, I'm quite funny and dry humor, and I'm quick and just. But this time, I'm actually competing a monologue, and I'm competing a monologue that is about my platform. And the reason I picked monologue is because if I think in a lot of ways I'm a speaker and charismatic at that. Interview is it's my pride and joy. It is my area. It is the area I crush it in. I think I just have a very wonderful, warm sense of communication, and I tend to interview really well. So for me, I was like, public speaking, that's the game we're going to play. So, but for me to do this in front of a stage, I don't know, but I'm excited to have fun with it. So I compete my monologue on Friday, the last night of competition. So I kind of saved
Wow.
the best for last.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if I crush the 3 days before, hopefully I'll go into my monologue just feeling calm and at peace and just go out there and crush it.
And that is awesome. I think it's particularly special that you now the monologue you're performing, is it from a work that we know would recognize from a book or a movie, or did you write it specifically for your platform?
It's actually a short essay that I read in undergrad.
Oh wow.
And the title of it is called Welcome to Holland.
Oh,
And without giving too much away, it's the perspective of a parent who, was preparing for motherhood, preparing to be a parent, and they ended up having a child born with a disability. And for them to go through this journey of what it feels like to have all your expectations and then to lose them and to feel like you're not going to have the child that you had always dreamed of. But at the end, you realize that it's just so much better than you could have ever imagined. And so, as somebody who works very closely with individuals with disabilities and I work for inclusion, and that's essentially what my life is about, I really resonated with this story of Welcome to Holland.
wow. I can tell this is going to be so powerful. What are the dates for your nationals?
It is, as I look at a calendar that I should have memorized, I compete June 20th through the 23rd.
Okay, June 20th through the 23rd. So this will likely air after your nationals, but keep in mind, we might post a little clip on our Instagram to wish you luck before the big day. But that is so exciting. Is everything else ready? Are you still kind of scrambling wardrobe? I'm not gonna lie, I have nationals coming up and I have not found a gown yet.
I actually pick up everything from alterations tomorrow. Um, People are gonna laugh at me. I did not try on a single thing. I ordered everything online. My dress I actually only ordered about a month ago, and absolutely everything is out of my comfort zone. If you know me as a pageant competitor, you know that, boy, I just cannot walk away from black. It is a serious problem. It is my power color, but boy, me and black satin, we're best friends. And so for this national pageant, I was like, nope, I'm going to do everything completely out of my comfort zone because this is nationals and I need to go big. So wardrobe, I'm terrified of, but it's all there.
Oh my gosh, you don't have anything to worry about. You got this in the bag, girly. But yeah, speaking of black, my mom asked me who I was interviewing today, and I was like, "Oh, do you remember Brittany?" And she was like, "Which pageant?" I was like, "Idaho." And she goes, "Brittany, Brittany, Brittany." I was like, she had really chill energy, and she wore the beautiful black swimsuit. And my mom was like, "Oh my God, yeah, Brittany told her I said hello." So my mother said hello.
I love that.
It's just like kind of like those signature things. I was like, she's really chill. She was like one of the chill ones. And my mom was like, okay. And then I was like, oh, she wore the black. And she goes, yes, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm that weird pageant competitor who wants to become like best friends for the staff. It is one of the things that hypes me up is when I feel like I'm helping others and when I feel like I'm making the job easier for others, that's what gives me confidence. And I know that backstage can be super stressful and not everyone is super friendly. So I always make it my goal pageant weekend. I'm like, that staff who's helping us, who's in the trenches with us, I'm like, I want to make their job as easy as I can. I want to help them have a great weekend too. So people always laugh at me that they're like, you're not even focused. And I'm like, no, I am. It just, the energy is reverberating differently.
Yes, it's just like I'm redirecting. And I was the same way when I was competing with USA or actually at any pageant I've ever been to. I definitely just, I understand what it is to give. And sometimes, you know, staff members need to be loved on a little bit just as much as they're pouring into us. We need to pour into them. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Because yes, pageant weekend is a beast from both ends, whether you're performing or running the show. It's crazy, especially with high stakes like the Miss USA pageants because they're so heavily scrutinized, you know. So thank you, I appreciate it. All right, so tell us a little bit about your icon photo here. It is stunning. Shout out the photographer, hair, makeup. Let's talk about it. How was that shoot for you?
I had this done in January with Georgina, who came all the way out to Boise, and I was very nervous. And I say that because she's known for very high glam photos. I was so worried that the pictures wouldn't look like me. This is actually my headshot for nationals.
Oh, woo woo.
My first pageant headshots were taken just by like a friend of mine. And then last year I had the opportunity to work with Austin Ride for the first time. And then this year jumped on the Georgina opportunity. So it was super fun. She is wonderful. I brought a lot of a black wardrobe, not gonna lie, but I think I'm super happy with how it turned out. I've never had images quite like what I got out of her.
Oh my gosh. Well, it is definitely a beautiful pageant level image. I've always wanted to work with Georgina personally, and like our schedules have just never, it's just never been a thing. So I'm jealous. I'm jealous. But yes, and then I heard you've worked with Austin, and I actually, I think David took my first pageant headshot. We had like a walking workshop in in Washington, and I think he took my first pageant headshot, and then my first like professional shoot was done with Jerry and Lois, who were doing the photography back then for Pageants Northwest. So shout out to everybody just mentioned, aforementioned. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of y'all because y'all were taking pictures of me with me doing my makeup and not really understanding my face. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, that I think 2 years I did my own hair and makeup, and I think back and I'm like, oh honey, just pay the money to have somebody do it because man, it makes a world of a difference in my opinion. Like I look back at some of those and I'm like, oh, please go sit down. Like, please, what are you doing? But hey, live and learn.
Amen. Because I know I've said it on my YouTube channel plenty of times. I'm so thankful to the people who let me be in pictures with y'all before I knew how to shape my own eyebrows because there was a time. Yes, thank you so much. I do really appreciate it because I wouldn't stand next to me. So that's another thing to navigate through when as you're preparing for nationals. So how do you have a makeup artist booked, or do you feel rehearsed enough to do your own hair and makeup for nationals?
Luckily, now my hair and makeup skills aren't bad. Truthfully, it's my hair that I can't just seem to tackle very well. It's currently in the world's messiest bun, but you know, that's totally in style right now. Thanks to 12 years of competitive cheerleading, my makeup is pretty solid, but I did sign with Team Puresque, And it's really just, I'm paying for peace of mind, just to not have the stress of bringing all of that. But just to know that the results I'm going to get are going to be beautiful and what I want. I'm just paying for peace of mind and confidence, really.
Oh my goodness. See, I'm the opposite. I'm too much of a control freak. So it's like I have to do it to feel at peace when I get to nationals or to any pageant. I'm like, I have to do my own face, because if my foundation is off or my lip or whatever, I'm gonna blow a gasket. So, and I don't want anybody to see me in that light ever. so, so I usually do my own for peace of mind. So, see, people, you can get the same outcome by approaches that are slightly different. So other than preparing for nationals and your concert tonight, what's next for you? So you mentioned that you are working in special education. Do you have any other career goals that you're pursuing, or anything for that matter? Any social goals? What's next for Miss Brittany?
Really, being a special education teacher it was the job I wanted to do since I was 14 years old. And it is my favorite job in the whole world. It brings me so much joy. I'm actually going through withdrawal, not teaching right now, not seeing my kids every day. But right now, I'm really focusing on my nonprofit that I'm the director of, Montana Miss Amazing. If you don't know the Miss Amazing program, it's for girls and women with disabilities. It's technically not a pageant, but it's founded in a lot of pageant, I guess, structure. And this next weekend, I'm hosting our first Crown Conference. I'm going to help our girls get ready for nationals. We're going to do some professional development and team bonding, and of course, a pajama pizza party. And then we have nationals in Chicago at the end of July. And this is only our second year of having Montana as a state. So I'm just constantly working, connecting, building, fundraising. I want to provide more and more opportunities to our clients in Montana, because I think Montana is a very vulnerable state. And so really just a lot of my focus has been on that right now.
Oh my gosh, what an admirable project. I was speaking with another Washington woman who works in education. She's a counselor. I interviewed her for the podcast, and she was saying that there's such a need and demand for support, as there always has been in education, right? But right now it's a little bit different, because the need and demand is specifically in mental health, in that area, support for not only the students but staff as well. So I think it's very, very admirable to be a teacher, period, and to work with students with special needs is just amazing. And then on top of that, it is you. It is who you are. You know, you're pulling on still helping people who need help, who need support, even outside of your paid position. So that's beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I'm sorry, I like to give my compliments as they come. So I'm not love bombing, I swear. So moving into the realm of contestant, you've kind of taken on the role of director with Montana Amazing Pageant. Or not pageant, but program. Does that make you feel like you have a little bit more of an understanding of the entire process that comes with pageantry, like the entire show running of it all?
Oh, absolutely. And especially because I just added two people to my board, but I've been a one-man operation. Not only do I put on this event, but I'm the MC. I'm the host. And to see all of this background stuff, I actually worked this past year with Maureen, and then of course Lisa, who took on director of Miss Montana USA, and we actually connected to help her find her venues, find her people, figure out all the things that she needs. You know, looking at ADA compliance. I mean, there's so many things that you do not think about as a contestant, and it's mind boggling to me, but it makes me just that much more appreciative of the teams who put it on and who do all of that, because I just, holy cow, is that job so hard?
Well, I know when I first started, I had a little bit of experience with events, but going from contestants to, stepping behind the curtain and working backstage, there is so much. And it's like we wouldn't have enough time to give all the contestants what they need to know just to be a part of the show, to also inform them of the information that they need to understand why our rules are as such. And sometimes I just appreciate, the girls who just come in and they listen. And you always have, the ones that don't, and you have to deal with it as it comes. But I just, this is always my wish. Like, I hope you get your own experience trying to put on an event where you have to host multiple people. And just kind of see what the other side is like. I wish that for everybody, because I think it just makes you appreciate things more.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it definitely, for me, it took me kind of out of, I'm going to say out of the zone this last time that I competed. And I say that because when I had previously competed, I just felt very self-centered. I was like, this is about me. And I felt like my energy portrayed that. But now that I'm a director and I see those moving pieces and I subconsciously understand the decisions and everything, I feel like it just humbled me as a contestant too. And I realized that I'm like, this is so much bigger than me. And this is, and I started looking at the contestants differently. I started looking at my peers differently. And so I think for me, it was one of the best decisions I ever did, was being able to see it from the other side.
I do recommend that people volunteer and just kind of see it, especially if you've competed and you've had a poor experience. I'd rather you volunteer and see the back end before choosing to just hang up pageantry altogether, because there's an opportunity to just kind of see it from a different light. But something a little bit more lighthearted. What is your lighthearted? Oh, what are words? Like lighthearted is what I was going for. What is like your cringiest pageant moment?
Oh, I feel like I'm actually quite cringy. My very first year I competed at Miss Washington USA, I actually tripped on stage, and
Like
like had maybe only worn those tippy tops twice in my life, and I had a black satin, very fitted mermaid dress. Yeah, we went down like a freight train.
Oh my God, when was
And I
this?
stood up and I danced it off. Didn't even play it cool. Like, all-star cheer kicked back in, and I just scoffed and laughed. And actually the judges were like, you're very funny. They're like, you played that well. And I was like, that was a nightmare. I also have a horrible habit of mouth singing on stage, especially during opening numbers.
Oh.
I think there's like some really bad performance that's just ingrained into me from cheer. And if that opening number has a catchy song, yeah, I don't know what's wrong. I will lip sing it every time.
Girl, you just triggered a memory for me. I was at a state pageant, and God is a Woman was my evening gown song, and your girl was feeling it, like shoulder, 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 hip, hip. Okay, and then Ariana hit a note, and I thought I could do it too. And I got backstage, and my anxiety was so high. I was like, oh my God, I just lost this pageant. Like, I can't believe I did that. I've been competing for so long, just going down the rabbit hole. I've been competing for so long. I can't believe I did that. And then, but it was okay. I won that one. But
Hey.
oh my gosh, I was backstage. I think I texted my mom. I was like, girl.
Sometimes you're feeling the performance so much that it comes out. But I know that as I'm prepping our opening number for nationals, like I know the words to the song, and I'm like trying so hard to not, like, I'm like, can I practice and just potentially tape my lips shut? I don't know what I need to do, but
yeah, it's like, what is it? Honey, that, and when systems send you the playlist beforehand and you practice to it. There was a national system I went to, and they sent us the runway work for both evening gown and swimwear. And when I tell you, like, I knew every song by the time I got to nationals because I was practicing to the playlist. and they shuffled it. Like I had been listening to it in the order that I received it, and they
Oh,
shuffled it, and it seemed like they just changed my whole world. I was like, wait, no, this song doesn't blend into that one.
oh, you're like, this is wrong. That's not right. That's not the order.
Yeah, I was like, that's not the order I practiced it. We need to keep it the way I practiced it. But yeah, I think pageantry has definitely been able to bring out um, the best and the worst parts of my personality. In that, I love the prep. I love the prep work. I love, just getting down to brass tacks and trying to figure out how to convey my message. But boy, one hair out of place once I've, got it down packed, and it is like the end of the world. Have you ever had a pageant meltdown?
No. And the reason I say that is I'm the type of person who will laugh it off. Like, I'm like, well, that was dumb. Well, you shouldn't have done that. But then I'm like, yeah, all right. Well, now we know, live and learn. Like, I just am the type of person who I will brush it off. But I can tell you the first time I competed for Idaho USA was the first time they had moved to the basement of the Red Lion on a like 9x9 stage. I had practiced being in an auditorium, stage work down, posing down, how to move that gown down. And now I had 10 steps to work with. And boy, it was a good rock star later that I think I was finally like, I can do this. I think I
A
can work
good
with
rock
this.
star. So energy drinks, you're into those.
Oh, religiously. It's a problem. I'm already packing them for nationals.
Oh my goodness, you're serious?
Oh, I drink an Alani a day, and I will have another hit of pre-workout if I go to the gym.
Oh my gosh, girl.
Oh,
For you to be so chill, like that's impressive. I would have never thought you were an energy drink girly.
ooh, energy drink, coffee. I am all about the caffeine life, my friend. All about
Oh my God.
it.
My mom tried, but I can't drink coffee. I can appreciate that it smells good, but it's not for me. I'm more of a tea girly, and like you said, I'll pre-workout it out. Like um I ride my Peloton at least 3 times a week. So yeah, me and my pre-workout is a must because I'm riding at 4:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, I just back that and then get on the bike. I'm trying to actually get off of pre-workout, but I can't do it. My rides aren't as good when I don't take it and drink it.
For me, I have yet to experience a downside. So I'm like, hey, it ain't broke, don't fix it. So until that day comes, I'm going to keep riding my little happiness of an energy drink, little fiasco. I'm just going to keep riding it until it hurts me.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. Um, so no pageant or meltdowns to note. I know I've had a couple. Oof, all it takes, you know, I'm size 14, on a good day. Anywhere between a 12 and a 16 is kind of my range. But I've had so many zippers break on me, like at those high intense moments.
Mm,
And a lot of time it's when I travel. I didn't realize that, sometimes when you fly, you bloat.
yeah.
So I didn't take that into consideration. And I remember I had spent the most money I ever spent on a gown, got to nationals, went to zip it up, and it broke, honey. Like broke. Someone sewed me into it for preliminaries. So that's why when I compete now, I mean, all of my meltdowns have been meltdowns to me, but anybody on the outside would have been like, "You handled that so well." But inside of myself, I knew what was going on, right? But yeah, someone sewed me into it, and I was able to go through preliminaries, but I had to leave the venue and come back for finals. I had to go buy a dress on the spot because, honey, I think um, I think the things that make us different in pageantry is what makes us powerful as well. So like where you are someone who's very calm and collected, um, I think that's also your power, because I think it kind of makes the other contestants, like you touched on earlier, think, like, what is she thinking? What is she doing? Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's just like, she's different. What's going on? And I remember that as a competitor as well. It's just like so high energy. And then me, I'm helping. I'm helping people get dressed. I remember my first year at Miss Washington, there was a contestant. She had a tie back corset that was like almost completely unlaced, and I'm backstage and I'm like helping her lace this full corset, and everybody's, why aren't you? What are you doing for you? What are you worried about? And I was like, I'm fine. My dress is on. This is somebody who needs help. Like,
No, I completely feel that. Actually, I have to have all of the zippers replaced and redone in all of my dresses, because I don't know who decides that a size 2 zipper is going on a size 16 dress, but let me tell you, the math ain't math in there. So
yeah,
I always get my zippers redone in my dresses, because I refuse to deal with that. Like, it's like the only alteration that I will put into a dress. Most of the time, luckily, I don't have to have many alterations done, but that zipper, first thing that is getting done, guaranteed.
well, yeah, and then it's like a well-known fact: formal wear always uses the cheapest zippers on the market, unless by design it has a thick metal zipper. So yes, that is something well worth the the investment. Get that zipper replaced, y'all. From experience, get it replaced. Um, so moving forward, I just want to know, is there any advice that you would give someone who is interested in competing at any pageant, not just Miss Volunteer, but any pageant, something you'd want to let them know for first timer?
um, I really would just, as kind of that chill, collected person, is I just want to tell them, I'm like, just do it. I'm like, clearly you're interested for a reason. There's something that has piqued your curiosity, and to just go for it. And I think, there was a lot of expectations that I had coming into pageant weekend, and there was a lot of things that people told me. And I think that's part of why I had such a rough experience. And so I try not to tell people too much. I try to just let them have their own experience based off of their own knowledge. And I always want to tell everybody, I'm like, just go for it. You have nothing to lose and you have everything to gain for it.
Powerful, absolutely powerful, because it's the truth. So take Brittany's advice and just do it. Just sign up, do the thing. There's so many opportunities out there for you, whether you are tall, short, skinny, thick. No matter how old you are, we're seeing more and more pageants come up that are welcoming of so many different age groups, and just do it. I've mentioned in a podcast previous, one thing that's important is doing your research and finding a pageant that aligns with your views and morals, and reading that contract when it comes around. So those are my two. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about your platform or your prep before we start to wrap today?
I could talk about my platform for hours and hours, because it's just so near and dear to my heart, because it's, see the able, not the label. It's not just a platform to me, it is my life. So I always encourage people to, if you are, if you are a pageant person, like, look at a Miss Amazing program in your state, volunteer, help work with us, and, just, I will talk about it all day if you let me.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for sharing that. Where can everyone follow your journey?
You can follow me primarily on Instagram, personally at BROE028. I always go by Bro or B-Row, best initials ever. You can also find me at the Miss Vermont Volunteer Instagram. And those are probably your two biggest ones to catch me in the pageant world.
Beautiful. So that has been another fabulous episode of The Plus in Pageantry on the BGE Cloud. Thank you, Miss Brittany, for joining us today. I am Amber Bruce, your host, and I'm so thankful for you sharing your time with me. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye.